Hi everyone! So today I'm going to be doing a read aloud of this book called Not Again, Mr. Cat. And the author is Kimberly P. Johnson, and it was illustrated by Landa Smith. And this book is pretty old. I got this when I was younger, so yeah. Let's get started. Miss May was sitting in her favorite chair, knitting a blue and white hat, when suddenly she heard a horrible sound. My goodness, oh dear, what was that? She flew from her chair as quick as a bat to see what she could see. There on her porch sat a black and white cat, as cute as he could be. The cat looked up and licked his paw. He was covered in flowers and dirt. My goodness, oh dear, what a terrible mess. I hope that he is not hurt. She opened the door and invited him in. He thanked her with a purr. She gave him some food, gave him some water, and helped him clean his fur. Then Miss May shook her finger and said with a smile, "Not again, Mr. Cat," as she swept up the pile. Miss May went back to her favorite spot to finish her knitting chore, when out of nowhere came a very loud bang, this time from near the back door. She threw down her knitting and ran with a dash, to only find out that the noise was the trash. So the cat got into something again. Let's see what else he does. Mr. Cat had decided to climb up on top and take a peek inside. He knocked over the trash, made a big mess, and then he tried to hide. Miss May shook her finger and said with a smile, "Not again, Mr. Cat," as she swept up the pile. She returned to her knitting as tired as could be, and Mr. Cat pranced off to find a tall tree. What do you think's gonna happen now? Says he pranced off to find a tall tree. You think he's gonna try to find something in the tree? He's gonna climb the tree? He might get stuck in the tree. After a while of peace and quiet, there was suddenly a knock on the door. My goodness, oh dear, this is a bit much. I don't think I can take any more. So, someone's knocking at the door now. Who could that be? You think someone came to see if Miss May has found the cat, and the cat is somebody's and they lost their cat? Do you think somebody found the cat and is returning it to her? Let's find out. She opened the door and a policeman stood there with Mr. Cat held tight in his arms. "I'm sorry to bother you so late in the day, and I don't want to cause an alarm. This cat was found in a very high tree, just a block or two down the street, and your neighbor thought that he might be yours, since you gave him a treat to eat." So it was a policeman that brought Miss May back the cat. My goodness, oh dear, I'm glad he's okay, but I'm not the owner, I'm sorry to say. I see that he is scared and a little bit cold. Warm milk does the trick, or so I am told. Miss May took some milk and put it down on the floor. She thanked the policeman and showed him back to the door. The cat sat quietly by the bowl on the mat and brushed his paws with ease. His eyes were warm, his face was sweet, and he purred as if to say, please. Miss May looked down with her hands on her hips and shook her head just so. Not again, Mr. Cat. The time has come. Now you really, really must go. She opened the door and patted him out as gently as could be. You'll find a good home, I'm sure of that. Just wait and you will see. She closed the door and went back to her chair to finish the job at hand, when out of nowhere came a very loud sound, like the world's most horrible band. So, do you think the cat has gotten something again? What could he have gotten in this time? Let's see. Miss May looked out and saw Mr. Cat, tangled in chimes and strings. Not again, Mr. Cat. You really can't stay. You get into too many things. After she opened the door and took a step out, Mr. Cat brushed against her leg. Not again, Mr. Cat. No, you can't stay. It does not matter how much you beg. So once again she left him outside and closed the door behind. Okay, she exclaimed, now I can work and finally get peace of mind. But after a while, she missed Mr. Cat and all the games he'd play. She thought to herself, he wasn't so bad. I should have let him stay. Outside her window she saw no cat. No noise could even be heard. Miss May missed the cat, his sweet little face, and especially the way he purred. So off she went to find her friend and bring him to his new home. She did not want him to wander around. She did not want him to roam. So now Miss May wants the cat. Down by the flowers, Miss May saw a bag that used to be full of seeds. And sure enough, there sat Mr. Cat, hiding quietly in the weeds. She picked him up and brushed him off. She gave him a gentle pat. I'm glad you're back. I'll keep you this time, my brand new friend, Mr. Cat. The end. So that's just a cute little story about Miss May and Mr. Cat and how he gets into all kinds of things, and she's trying to teach him self-discipline and how to not get into those things. But then Miss May shows patience and finds a friend in Mr. Cat and wants him to stay. So she decides to keep him. So that's Not Again, Mr. Cat. So now that we have read Not Again, Mr. Cat, I think a good thing to do is to focus on the character traits of the two main characters in this book. So I made a chart on a whiteboard and we're going to look at that now. Alright, so this is the chart that I made. And so we're just going to list some character traits of each character that I have written up here. So for Mr. Cat, We could say he is curious. Because he's always getting into things, so he probably likes to roam around and try to find stuff. And he wants to know what stuff is. Mr. Cat is active. He's always doing something. He is definitely messy. He's making messes throughout the whole book. He knocked over the plant on the porch. He got into the chimes and got tangled up. He knocked over the trash. I'd say he's maybe troublesome. He gets into trouble. Guess that kind of goes along with messy. Like, he got stuck in the tree, so it's troublesome. Let's move on to Miss May. Let's see. Miss May is... she's definitely patient. I said that at the end. After I finished reading, she learned to be patient with the cat and to let him in. You can say she's friendly because she decides to take in Mr. Cat and be his friend. She's caring. She shows a lot of care towards the cat. She gives him a bowl of milk. She invites him to stay inside with her. Now you try to think of some character traits that I haven't put up. So another thing we can talk about is how the characters change from the beginning to the end. So Miss May, she definitely changes. She doesn't really want the cat around in the beginning. She wants him to stay out of the mess, stop making messes around her house, stop getting into trouble, and she doesn't really want him to stay there with her. And then at the end, she wants to take him in and she misses him after he's gone. So you can see the shift in her character and how she ends up caring for the cat and wanting him as a friend. And then for the cat, for Mr. Cat, we can say, like, in the beginning he's really messy and always getting into things, and then towards the end he leaves her alone and is really caring towards Miss May and gentle and wants to have a home with her. So you can see how each character changes in the book. So I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you for watching.